Hi there, my name's Mark Wootton. I'm here from Alderac Entertainment Group and I'm here to show you War Chest, a 2 or 4 player game designed by Trevor Benjamin and David Thompson with graphic design by Bridget Indelicato. This is an abstract, asymmetric war game that is a bag builder and shares a bit of its DNA with chess or checkers. The purpose of the game is to gain control of locations on the board. In a 2-player game, the first person to control 6 locations wins, and in a 4-player game, the first team to control 8 locations wins. The lighter area is for 2-player only. The darker area becomes involved in a 4-player game. In a 4-player game, instead of having 4 units, you only have 3, but you play as 2 teams. The game is called War Chest, and it comes in its very own war chest. One of the things I really like about this game is it has that feeling of a classic game that could have been presented to a medieval king or queen. It certainly covers a lot of the modern game sensibilities, but it just has this feel that it could have actually been passed down from generation to generation like chess or like checkers. We really wanted to capture that in the whole feel of the game. The whole kind of look and graphic design of the game has that Celtic knotwork feel. We've simulated the wood. The coins are beautiful heavy clay poker chips with this very bright but sort of traditional iconography on it. The game is a bag building game. What you're going to do at the start of the game is you're going to take 2 coins from each unit in your supply and you're going to put those into your bag, and then together with a royal coin you are going to draw 3 coins each turn. Drawing 3 coins, these 3 coins represent your actions. And the way the game is going to play out is fairly simple. It is one of those minutes to learn, lifetime to master type games. You can recruit coins from your supply into your discard area, and when your bag is empty and you go to redraw, your discard goes back into your bag. So you can recruit coins as a long-term strategy to manipulate your army on the board. You can deploy units onto the board, and then you can activate those units later by discarding a coin of the same type from your hand. This allows them to move around the board, to capture these locations that I spoke about, and to attack enemy units. There are 4 basic kinds of maneuvers. You always activate a piece on the board by discarding a piece of the same type. So if I want to use my archer, then I have to discard an archer coin from one of the 3 coins I've drawn that turn. I can move 1 hex in any direction. I can take control of a location. The other thing I could do, for example, say with this cavalry, is I could attack an adjacent unit that belongs to my opponent. And when I attack an adjacent unit, that is removed from the game and put back in the box. So effectively what you've got is you've got attrition in the game. This affects the bag composition and affects the way the game flows. The other thing about the armies though is that they are completely asymmetric. The recommended way of playing the game, once you're familiar with it, is that you put 8 cards out and you draft from them. There are actually 16 units total in the game. They all behave very differently. I talked about the things you can do, moving, attacking, taking control. The 4th thing you can do with a unit is to perform its tactic. The tactic gives them very different feels. So for example, the archer's tactic is to attack a unit 2 hexes away. So it behaves like you would expect an archer to behave. The lancer, this coin here, has a tactic which allows it to move 1 or 2 spaces and then attack. The cavalry has a tactic that allows it to move and attack. It's not quite as devastating at long range as a lancer, but it's more versatile. A number of the units in the game will have a tactic. If they don't have a tactic, they may have some other attribute. For example, the swordsman, after they have attacked, can move. There are also some units which actually sort of combo with other units very effectively. So you might want to try and draft those combos, or you might want to draft in a way that stops the other person getting those combos. But essentially it has very, very high replay value because not only is the army that you're playing likely to change every game, but even if you were to play the same army, you could be facing a completely different army on the other side, which means that the game will play out in a very different way. So it's probably 5 minutes to learn, but it's going to take you a lot of plays through to actually master all the nuances and the opportunities and the trickeries and the gambits. One of the important things about War Chest is that when you discard the coins to your discard area, the coins that you discard is open information. You can always effectively count the number of coins that have been used. So my opponent can deduce that I am not able to do anything with my archers. However, in this particular situation, I have initiative, and so it's my turn. I have a scout, and the scout has a rule about deployment which says it can deploy adjacent to any friendly unit. So I'm going to deploy my scout here. I know my opponent has at least one swordsman, I've already covered that, so I don't want to deploy and put the scout in imminent danger. Because I know my opponent has only got these 2 units to operate with, my plan for the turn now is going to pan out. So on my next turn, I'm going to discard the 2nd scout unit here, and this will allow me to take control of this location, advancing me towards my victory condition. And then because I know that this cavalry cannot do anything, on my 3rd turn, I'm going to use the tactic for my own cavalry, move 1 space, and then attack the light cavalry here, and this puts the light cavalry back into the box. So that's an example kind of turn where I may be thinking about what my opponent can do. I know in this particular circumstance they are restricted to dealing with units that are away from my primary point of attack, and I'm going to use the special ability of 2 of my units to advance my position and keep my archer protected, so that when I reshuffle my bag in a turn's time, I can bring the archer up with its ranged attack to support what's happening in this particular area. It can be played by gamers, it can be played to a great deal of depth, but it's simple enough to learn that people who are perhaps less avid gamers will happily get pulled in, enjoy and play the game. And I think it's super approachable.